Avoidants are never very forward with their feelings. They rarely open up and go deep about how much you mean to them. And sometimes it's hard to tell if they even care about you at all. And after a breakup, they tend to be even colder, shutting you out from even basic communication. But the truth is that a lot of avoidants still miss you and do have feelings for you, even if they don't show it in the usual ways. So let's talk about how to tell if your avoidant ex misses you. Now, I, of course, am Brad Browning. I'm a breakup coach and have been for 15 years now. And in that time, I've written a best-selling program called the X Factor 2.0 and helped thousands of people around the world get a second chance with their ex. And many of those exes did have an avoidant attachment style. Now, the thing you need to know about avoidant exes is that they do have emotions. Now, I know they may seem emotionless at times, but that's really just a facade that they put up to avoid being hurt. In reality, they feel things just as strongly as really anyone else does. They just avoid exploring or expressing these feelings because of their attachment style. So don't think that your relationship meant nothing just because your ex is now giving you the cold shoulder. Don't even think that they've magically turned off their feelings for you. This is really just how avoidants work. Now, if you want more information about attachment theory and avoidance, I've made a whole video on this topic in the past, which I'll link to in the description below. But for now, let's talk about the signs that your avoidant ex misses you. Now, we'll start with sign number 1, which is that they choose action over words. So your avoidant ex, they won't show up in tears, profess their love for you, and tell you that they want you back, that they can't live without you, at least most of the time. Now, they may feel this way, but conversations like this make them extremely uncomfortable. So they'll show their feelings through actions rather than words. So if your avoidant ex brings you a bag of your favorite candy, if they offer to feed your fish while you're out of town, if they give you a ride home from the bar, just know that these are all very strong signs that your avoidant ex misses you and still wants you around. And that's because avoidance actions show how they feel rather than their words. I hear so many stories where someone's partner says that nothing is wrong and that they love them very much, only to dump them out of the blue the next day. And those people almost always turn out to be avoidants, taking the path of least resistance. So really, the moral of the story is you need to look at what your ex does and not what they say. And sign number 2, they're drawing closer to you. Now again, this is about behavior versus appearance. Avoidants don't want you to know how they feel, so they obscure their feelings. But their subconscious will betray them. If they miss you, they'll feel drawn to you like a magnet, and they'll engage in what I call hovering. Basically, they'll get as close as they can to you, but always with enough distance that they can get away if there's any trouble. So this might manifest as physical closeness, like they'll show up to places they'll know you'll be, they'll stare at you from across the cafeteria, they'll go to the bar that the two of you used to frequent together, they'll just happen to be at the coffee shop at the same time as you are. Or on the other hand, it might be more emotional closeness, through keeping your connection alive in small and subtle ways. But again, they won't ever get as close as you'd like, and if you lean into this closeness, they're going to start to pull away. Now, it's very frustrating, but it's probably not unfamiliar for anybody who's ever dated an avoidant. And checking up on you is really just another form of hovering. So rather than reaching out to you directly, an avoidant ex will often try to get information about you through other means. Maybe that's creeping your social media or asking questions through friends and family. A slightly less avoidant ex may ask you directly just how you're doing, or even try to keep in regular contact. Now, if you're wondering if your ex is hovering, ask yourself this: why are they acting this way? Is there another good explanation for their behavior? I mean, if you just got out of surgery and they ask how you're feeling, or if their house burned down and they need a place to stay, then it's probably not significant. But short of anything serious like that, really any contact from your avoidant ex is a very good sign. And sign number 3 is hot and cold behavior. Now, this is something that avoidants do naturally, but it becomes even more extreme once you've broken up. So your ex is going to pull you close one moment and then push you away the next. And this is what being an avoidant is really all about. They reach for that closeness, it scares them, and they run away. And now that you've broken up, they have even more reasons to get close to you. They're sad and lonely, they feel like they might lose you, and they miss you. But at the same time, they have even more reasons to stay away as well. They don't know how you feel about them, maybe things feel awkward, and communicating with you feels emotionally risky. And that's not even considering the reason that you broke up in the first place. So don't be surprised if your avoidant ex reaches out to you one day, acting friendly, They'll want to see you, talk to you, to reminisce. They'll say flattering things, and it'll be like the whole breakup never happened. But then something will happen. Once you get comfortable with this intimacy, you'll start to reciprocate. And that is when they're going to pull away and go ice cold on you. It's like what they said and did just hours or days ago was a total act, and you end up feeling like an idiot for letting your guard down. And this is a cycle that can repeat again and again, and it's something that your ex is probably barely aware of, so they'll probably keep going until they finally move on or until you stop putting up with it. So if you find that your ex is running hot and cold and it's really confusing, this is most likely why. And on to sign number 4, which is fake indifference. Now, this is something that I see all the time in my work as a breakup coach. An ex will pretend like they don't even care about you. They'll act like you're the furthest thing from their mind and they've moved on. But you won't be convinced. You'll feel it in your gut that they're just putting on an act. Now, of course, some exes will genuinely be not interested, but since you know this person, you're usually going to be able to tell the difference. And this is especially noticeable if they're still reaching out, telling you how over you they are, and asking leading questions to try to find out what you've been up to. Now, they may very well believe their own story. They could be lying to themselves, but you definitely shouldn't take them at their word. Now, you might be noticing a pattern here. Many avoidants don't know why they do these things, or really even know that they're doing them at all. As a result of their avoidant behavior towards their own feelings, they have a really hard time recognizing the emotions that are actually driving them. But their actions will still generally be predictable as long as you know how to read them. And that's the real secret here. Avoidants choose actions over words, and so their actions will betray them every time. And sign number 5 is you score over 70 on my free quiz. So based on my dealing with thousands and thousands of clients over the years, I've put together a simple quiz that can tell you your ex's feelings for you. You can find it at breakupbrad.com/quiz. So take 5 minutes out of your day and find the truth about your ex. Again, that's breakupbrad.com/quiz. So go check it out for free after the video and see how you score. And sign number 6 is sudden anger. Now, this is a really weird one, but I have seen it happen many times. Your ex might show their true feelings for you by just calling you up to yell at you, call you names, or tell you how you ruined their life. Now, of course, it's a really nasty way to behave, and it feels horrible to be on the receiving end of this, but it often comes from a place of missing you and wanting you back. Now, call me crazy, but there is a reason that this actually makes sense. Your ex feels drawn to you, but they know that speaking to you will be very emotional and potentially risky. They're afraid that they might ask you for another chance and be rejected, or that you might say yes, get back together, only to find that they feel smothered. So to avoid this risk and still get to speak to you and maybe even see you, they'll come in hot. They'll yell and scream at you. Obviously, this isn't going to be super satisfying to them, but it will get them a chance to speak to you without the fear of any real emotional intimacy. Again, they're really not thinking long-term here, or thinking at all in some cases. They just know that they want to talk to you. Now, there are a few other reasons that your ex is going to lash out at you in this way, but I don't have time left to talk about it in this video. Just know that it's actually a good sign most of the time if you do want another chance with your ex. And that brings us to the end of this one. I hope that you find love again with your avoidant ex, and I believe that you genuinely will if you follow my advice. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, for liking, subscribing, and leaving me a comment. I promise I read each and every one. Best of luck. See you next time.